All right, so AIM 5.2, what effect did the assassination of Franz Ferdinand have on the beginning of World War One? So we went over the main causes, quote unquote, on Friday, and now we're kind of focusing in on one of them, that being the nationalism piece, and kind of how it relates to this assassination, and how this particular event relates to the rest of World War One. So that's what we're talking about. All right, so I'm not going to pause. You guys can write while I ramble here, but um, this is the piece of this is this part of the story with the causes of World War One that is related to nationalism. So this particular area of the world is called the Balkan states. It is circled down here in purple on the map here. So this is what is modern day Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Albania, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia, these kinds of places down there. So in this particular area, there are a lot of different people with a lot of different ethnicities and a lot of different political allegiances. And it's not one ethnicity to one kingdom. It's you have different people of different ethnicities in different kingdoms, and all of these push and pull factors with regard to nationalism create for a very kind of unstable social political environment in this part of the world. That's why if you look at the text on the map there in purple, it says Balkan Peninsula, the powder keg of Europe. And why they're calling it the powder keg of Europe is because the socio-political kind of conditions that exist there are so volatile that it's only going to take a minor event for this whole thing to just kind of blow up. And that's really what's happening here. So it is the different ethnicities and the different kind of political allegiances that exist in this part of the world that make for a very volatile situation. And that's kind of what we're talking about. So let's see how this nationalism kind of plays out and what impact it has. All right, we got some stuff here, so I'll give you a second. All right, so the powder keg of Europe in the Balkan Peninsula, which is what this part of the world is called. We're going to concentrate down here on Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Serbia, this area here, because this is kind of where our story is told. So Bosnia-Herzegovina, we can tell by the color coding of the map, is part of the larger what's called Austria-Hungary or Austro-Hungarian Empire. So Bosnia belongs to Austria. That's just kind of the deal, okay? Now, the issue here is that the people in Bosnia, ethnically speaking, identify with Serbia. So the people in Bosnia want to take Bosnia, break away from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and join a larger Serbian kingdom. This is very similar to the example that we gave when we started kind of thinking about nationalism. When we talked about Crimea in Russia, we said that that little part of Russia, the little part of the Ukraine, the Crimean Peninsula, the people there identify as Russian and they want to go and join Russia. So this is like the same thing. The people in Bosnia don't identify as Austro-Hungarian, they identify as Serbian. And they want very badly to break away from the Austro-Hungarian Empire and join Serbia. And this tension, ethnically and politically, is the main part of the problem here. Austro-Hungarian Empire and empires in general are not really in the business of giving away land. That's just kind of not what's done. And it's not exactly a recipe for wealth or success or anything like that. So let's see. All right, I'll give you a second. So this desire of the people that live in Bosnia to break away and join Serbia, like we said, Austro-Hungarian Empire is not going to allow that. So enter this guy, Franz Ferdinand. He's the heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. At the time, he's one of the most powerful and prestigious figures in all of Europe. So there's a lot of power here with this guy. So the idea here is that this group called the Black Hand, and this guy who's a member, his name is Gavrilo Princip, He is a Bosnian Serb, so he is the exact people that we're talking about. He is someone who lives in Bosnia, so he's living in a country that belongs to Austria-Hungary, but he is Serbian ethnicity and he wants to take that country and join Serbia, but he's not being allowed to. So they decide, this group, when Ferdinand comes to visit Sarajevo, they're going to assassinate him. And that's kind of what the story here is. Now, the idea here is they want to achieve a certain political goal, and that is to break away from the rest of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and join Serbia. So this kind of is one of those acts of terrorism, right? It is the idea that we will assassinate this person and we will kind of have the Austro-Hungarian government being held hostage by their fear. Hey, we can get any of you. Okay, if we can get the heir to the throne, we can get any of you. You had better let us break away and join Serbia, or we're going to keep doing this. So it is this kind of act of terrorism that perpetrates the rest of World War One, and this is kind of the major event. So this is Princip on the right, and this is Ferdinand on the left. So as you go through the classwork today, you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to check out a video clip that's going to kind of summarize the events of exactly how this whole assassination went down, and we'll probably uncover my conspiracy theory, which we'll talk about later. And then you're going to check out a section of the textbook also. So make sure you are kind of looking at both parts